Welcome to Asia Pacific College. Here, we're more than our degree programs, more than our intensive faculty-student interaction, more than our industry linkages, or more than the employability of our graduates from internship. Guided by integrity, industry, and innovation, a culture of exploration drives us forward as we set course in treading blue ocean, exploring the unknown and unimagined. We inspire and motivate each other to discover new ways to change the world, empowering our students to live up to their potential and realize their aspiration. We prepare our students to make a difference. We live with purpose and conviction. And we work hard to ensure that our best is always becoming better. Greater things await you at Asia Pacific College.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Asia Pacific College and Spring Valley Memorandum of Agreement signing and webinar. To formally welcome our special guest, Paul, a respected business leader and a pioneer in the Philippine IT and business process management industry. He was formerly at the helm of Genpact Philippines as the country manager and was formerly the president of Title Philippines, Client Logic Philippines, and Contact World. He also held the position of country chairman of Salmat Philippines and was part of the senior leadership of Fujitsu Philippines. He founded, together with several BPO leaders, the IT Business Process Management Association of the Philippines and was its chairman from 2013 to 2017. He is recognized as one of the outstanding leaders in Asia for 2017 by the Asia Corporate Excellence and Sustainability Award and the ICT Individual Contributor for 2011 by the International ICT Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Danilo Sebastian Reyes, Chairman of the Board, Spring Valley Tech Corporation, and founder and president of Palmowal Inc.
Thank you, Joanne. A pleasant good afternoon to everyone and welcome. It has been one hell of a year and it's not yet over. This pandemic has affected everyone and everywhere. It has brought the world to its knees and has made us to relook, refocus, and reimagine a lot of things. However, amidst these challenging times, we try to find opportunities. That is why I'm extremely excited with why we are here today. Asia Pacific College, together with Spring Valley Tech, is reinventing education. In 2016, the Information Technology and Business Process Management Association of the Philippines, or IBPAP, embarked on its third roadmap, which is called IBPAP Roadmap 2022. Its aim is to create another 600,000 jobs on top of the 1.2 million, and an increase of almost 100,000 jobs every year. We also wanted to increase the revenues to about 40 billion US dollars. However, in order to attain those goals, we first need to fill up the skills gap that has been identified during the process of the making of the roadmap, and to address what would be the requirements of the jobs of the future, some of which are already here. This is where education is critical in bridging these gaps and ensuring that we have ready and able set of talents to enter the workforce. Over the past few months, even prior to COVID, the Spring Valley Tech and the Asia Pacific College teams have been in constant communication to find ways and means to address these challenges in bridging the gaps. Spring Valley Tech has been founded on the values of challenging the norms, finding solutions to problems, and using tech for good. We have found a partner in Asia Pacific College that shares these values. Today, we will sign a memorandum of agreement and launch Reinventing Education. I'd like to thank our partners, Globe My Business, PLDT Enterprise, SMART, and Wacom for supporting us in this endeavor. Join us as we embark in this exciting journey. Thank you and stay well.
Thank you, Mr. Danilo Sebastian Reyes, for that very warm welcome. Our next speaker is an experienced educator and technopreneur with a demonstrated history of working in the information technology and services industry. A strong professional skilled in business planning, analytical skills, coaching, public speaking, computing, and information technology. He is the founder and CEO of Cyber Optimus Philippines, Inc., an IT services company specializing in consulting, applications development, and training. He is also the national president of the Philippine Society of Information Technology Educators, the director for the graduate program in IT education of Asia Pacific College, and an accreditor of ALCOCOA, or the Commission on Accreditation for Local Colleges and Universities. To share with us his insights on the future of IT education in the Philippines, please welcome our moderator for this afternoon, Mr. Ernesto Boogie Boydon.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? A thumbs up sign. Okay, pwede na rin yung nod. Well, I'm very glad to be here, and first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. Well, technically, you're not really here today. Well, I am here. Oh, never mind. I guess we will get used to this thing soon. So I will be taking over the host duties for our event, but I'm wearing two hats today. As was introduced, I am currently the national president of the Philippine Society of IT Educators, or PSIT, and I was asked to share some insights. Now let me share my presentation. Okay. Well, I believe that if COVID-19 did not happen, we were already seeing exciting times for information technology and technology in general. There are many wonderful things that the future is bringing to us through technology. Okay. Okay. I got a message that my network was bad, but it disappeared. So I guess my network is now good again. And I guess you're seeing my presentation again. So as I was saying, there are many wonderful things that the future is bringing to us through technology. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, communications. All of these things were coming at us at a continuously accelerating pace. So the future of IT education should make sure that our students develop proficiencies in these exciting areas. In a survey done by Tech Insider, 80% of respondents predict that the first implantable phones will become commercially available by 2024. So instead of talking, the implanted phone could allow users to communicate their thoughts via brainwaves. Now, when I shared this with my wife, she got excited kasi sabi niya, pwede na daw niya ako makuha sa tingin. Now, let's backtrack a little. Even before the pandemic happened, we in the academy were already grappling with some serious future-related problems. The question that a lot of schools have been asking is this: how do we prepare our students to be the workforce of the future if we do not even know how the future workplace will look like? Now, with COVID-19, this problem has been further exacerbated because not only do we not know how the future workplace will look like, we are also now uncertain how our schools and our classrooms will look like. Well, to answer this, I'd like to take my clues from three things. The first is 21st century skills. We've been talking about this for the longest time, but I believe that all the more are these skills more relevant now. We need to make sure that our future education environment emphasizes and ensures the attainment of these skills for our students: learning and innovation skills, life and career skills, and more importantly, information, media, and technology skills. Why? Because these skills are now very essential for surviving and thriving in the age of the internet. Now, the second clue is Education 4.0. As a response to the Industrial Revolution 4.0 that's already happening, academe needs to align itself to ensure that our students are sufficiently prepared to cope with the challenges of this industrial revolution that is happening in their lifetime. Well, there are a lot of materials out there that talks about Education 4.0, but I'd like to zero in on just four important factors. Number one, our teaching has to be transformed. We need to take advantage of what exponential technologies like artificial intelligence and other things that can do to help us find new and innovative ways to transform what we have been doing. Our objectives are still the same. We want our students to learn what we are trying to get across to them so that this will produce certain outcomes that we want in them. Maybe in the past we've had difficulty doing it, but this time there are technologies that can greatly enhance the delivery of our lessons and thus increase the learning that is happening with our students. Now, one of the goals of digital learning is personalized adaptive learning. And in Education 4.0, we now see that this becomes increasingly possible. No student needs to be left behind because our manner of teaching with the aid of technology can now take into consideration different learners' diversity, performance, and maybe even behavior. But we need to reimagine and reinvent the way that we do assessment. We cannot continue to do the practice of giving our students long exams or periodical exams at the end of a long string of lessons. With technology, delivering learning in micro, bite-sized portions, assessment has to happen at the point of learning, with feedback that is immediate and reinforcing. Lastly, we also need to reimagine and reconceptualize even our physical estates. Our campus, our classrooms, our gyms, our laboratories may not be the same anymore in the new education environment that we all will be moving into. Now, the third clue is Agile in education. In a blog post entitled Agile Classroom, Embracing an Agile Mindset in Education, it was argued that traditional schools have generally been an exercise in compliance and earning labels. But let's face it, the era of educational labels is fast becoming obsolete. And the way to address this growing phenomenon is to embrace an agile mindset in education. Now, the agile mindset came about at the turn of the millennium and started in software development. But about 10 or so years, a group of educators came together and thought of applying the agile principles to education. By coming up with the similar manifesto, it emphasized new principles, and they took things from the Agile playbook and applied to the classroom setting. Now, I'd just like to highlight four of them. Number one, running sprints, not marathons. In the Agile classroom, learning happens in micro, bite-sized lessons and grouped together to provide learning sprint experiences. These are time-boxed efforts, typically 2 to 3 weeks. And the students commit to achieving specific learning outcomes for that period. Similar to Agile software development, the students are grouped into learning squads of 6 to 8 students. They work as a team and cooperate and collaborate to complete the goals defined in their learning sprints. Now, one of the key goals of Agile in the classroom is to get a high level of engagement and participation in the students. To achieve this, gamification is applied. Aside from motivating the students, this provides us also with a clue on how we can recontextualize the assessment process. Now, the other key aspect of the Agile mindset is the art of reflection. This is a driver for continuous improvement. So in the future learning environments, we should have the facility for students to express their learning experiences, maybe in the form of blogs, portfolios, sharing of user-generated content. But what is important is that they feel this helps them in understanding the lessons better, and they share it in a social environment. Now, I think the pandemic that we are facing right now has caused us to turn to ourselves and realize that we have that unlimited capacity to be innovative and creative. And faced with whatever difficulties, we can turn those difficulties to become opportunities. And I think the point that this crisis we are facing now drives home is that we need to step up to the challenge. Right here, right now. And the future of IT education in the Philippines is also asking us to step to the challenge. I'd like you to watch this video.
Let me set it up for you. Let's say you are the CEO of a theater company in Spain, and you focus on comedy theater. Every night you run comedy shows at your theaters. One morning you wake up and you realize that the government has increased the tax rate from 8% to 21%. Translation, tonight nobody's going to show up. What do? How do you respond to this external shock? Think about it for 5 seconds, and then I'll show you exactly what these guys did. All right, have a look.
Pay per laugh, the first comedy shows where you only pay for what you consume. We fitted each seat with a facial recognition system that detects the smile and proposed the following deal to spectators. Entrance will be totally free. If the show produces no laughs, you don't pay anything. However, if you laugh, you have to pay for each smile. Each smile produced is worth 30 euro cents, something that in this day and age is quite a reasonable price. At the end of the show, the spectator could check their laughter account before paying and even share it on social networks. And so that no one would cry for having laughed more than they could afford, the maximum amount to pay was 80 laughs for 24 euros. The average price of the ticket increased by 6 euros. The system was covered by the main national media outlets, and this produced 35% more spectators. Each pay-per-laugh show produced 28,000 euros more ticket money than was normally taken. Currently, the system is being copied in other theatres in Spain. A mobile phone app was created as a system of payment, and the first season ticket was launched for the number of laughs not shown.
Okay, so the capacity to be innovative. We have that unlimited capacity to be innovative and creative. And faced with whatever difficulties, we can turn those difficulties to become opportunities. So, going back to our question, how do we prepare our students to be the workforce of the future if we do not even know how the future workplace will look like? Well, my answer is this. We need to develop our students to become business solutions innovators, imbued with the character, the attitude, and the mindset to be industry professionals ready to meet the challenges of the emerging business environment in whatever form they may present themselves. They need to be equipped with the qualities of flexibility, adaptability, and agility. In other words, why settle for students that will be merely reactive if we can hone their skills to be even more creative? So, if you're asking me what the future of IT education is in the Philippines, my answer is simple. It is in the MOA signing that you are all about to witness today. A true embodiment of the industry-academe partnership that we have all been aspiring for the longest time. Ladies and gentlemen, this event that you are about to witness is your gateway to the future of IT education in the Philippines. Thank you. Okay, so Thank you very much. We will now be moving on. Are you ready to move on? Taas ang kamay nung gusto na mag-move on. So let me introduce our next presenter. He is the CEO of the Tech and Innovation Company, Spring Valley Tech Corporation, as well as of the Philippine Software Industry Association, PSIA. He was also the former president of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, or NICP, and he is also a trustee of the IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines, IBPAP, and heads its technical working group for inclusive growth. He is also the founder of Clear, a COVID-19 contact tracing app, also of Philanthropo.com, Digital Pilipinas, OJTPH.com, and iProtect. Our speaker is a seasoned independent World Bank consultant for global information technology initiatives, responsible for the design and implementation of several projects in Africa and Asia, such as the design and implementation of the Kenya Center of Excellence for IT BPO education. He holds a political science degree from the De La Salle University and was recognized as the university's Alumni of the Year for Information Technology in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker to talk about industry requirements for the new business environment, Mr. Jonathan De La Soriaga.
Good afternoon to all of our attendees, and thank you very much, Boogie, for that very long introduction. Make me feel so old every time. So first and foremost, allow me to just tell some stories behind what is happening, what you're witnessing today. So Asia Pacific College has always had a very strong relationship with Spring Valley and vice versa. And later on, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about some of the partnerships and synergies that we have gone through in the past couple of years. The concept of having a Spring Valley Academy is practically as old as the concept of Spring Valley itself. Spring Valley, of course, aims to be the Silicon Valley of the Philippines. And one major component of Silicon Valley in the US that made it what it is today is actually the presence of a very strong academic system. In this particular case, could you see my presentation? So, in this particular case, in the case of Silicon Valley, it's actually Stanford University. So I'm here to talk more about how did this come about and why it is important more now than ever to actually pursue this particular partnership with Asia Pacific College. Before I start, I'd just like to thank my chairman of the board, Mr. Danilo Sebastian Reyes, who has been a pillar for the IT BPM industry. We owe him a lot in terms of why the IT BPM industry is as big as it is now. So thank you, Dan, for being here with us. And of course, Mr. Dimakali, the chairman of the Asia Pacific College, who we will be hearing from later on. And of course, my very good friend, the president of Asia Pacific College, Tata, who has been very supportive in everything that we have done and who's very supportive of the entire concept of Spring Valley itself. We actually opened our browsers today and saw this. The date is actually June 17, Wednesday, but this is practically old news. The president of our republic has basically announced that no vaccine, no school opening, which in turn began a mad scramble for all purely offline schools to go online. And apparently, between Spring Valley and Asia Pacific College, this idea has been kicked around even as early as 2018, all the way to 2019. Now we have more motivation to actually pursue this particular partnership, primarily because of the challenges that have been brought about by this pandemic. Honestly, as a Filipino, I cannot accept that there is going to be a semester that our learners are going to miss because of this pandemic. We have been known the world over as a lot of things: the texting capital of the world, social media capital of the world, the selfie capital of the world. And now that there is a dire need for us to pursue online education, I don't think that is a challenge that we collectively, both as industry and academe, should shrink away from. Malcolm X is very popular with one quote that education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And rightfully so, this memorandum of agreement signing that you are about to witness is a testament to our country and our organization's approach and importance that we actually put as far as education is concerned. So what are the jobs that are quite popular nowadays? Especially since the enhanced community quarantine was implemented a few months back. Tech actually dominates the list of the top 10 emerging jobs in the Philippines. And this is according to Esquire magazine. Now, globally, and it's not only constrained to the Philippines, the most in-demand jobs in the world are more or less dominated by technology or technology-related functions as well. On top of the list are software engineers and developers, followed by electronic engineers. Further down the line are IT data analysts. There's also database and network professionals, as well as system administrators and analysts. Every day, during video calls and telephone conversations, it is quite obvious that the need that is out there, that we are actually quite far behind in terms of supplying, is actually technical talent. And this partnership hopefully would help ease that particular burden for our nation and jumpstart our economy and our competitiveness. But again, we're not really just talking about jobs here, right? We're also talking about innovation as well as technology as it manifests through the startup ecosystem. So on the right of the slide is actually the top 20 most startup friendly countries in the world. For those of you who are wondering where the Philippines is in terms of this ranking, we're actually ranked at number 39, which is at the bottom of that image. As far as innovation is concerned, and there's a very bankable study that comes out, which is the Global Innovation Index. We're also not part of the list of those that actually dominate. We do not lead the pack when it comes to these things. Where are we when it comes to this? If Switzerland is actually registering a 67.24 grade, the Philippines is merely at the 36.18 level. So that is now where the gap is, primarily because we do not produce enough technology talent in order for us to figure properly in both the Global Innovation Index as well as in the global startup ecosystem. However, a few years back, there was this very controversial article on Manila Bulletin that basically states that 52% of IT students are not hireable. And this study was actually conducted independently by a former PSIA president, Joey Gurango, who is also a good friend of mine. And this is based on testing that he has done all over the Republic. And these are the numbers that actually came out of that particular study. Now, when this came out, the board of directors of PSIA actually went to me and said, why did you permit this to happen? Why is it that we're announcing that 52% of IT students are not hireable? In which, in an honest to goodness fashion, I actually said, if it's only 52%, then I would be very happy. What do these three numbers actually signify? 3% in 6 to 8 months. What do these numbers represent? 3% is more or less the average high rate in the technology and software development industry. Meaning to say, out of 100 applicants, there are only 3 who would actually make the application successful. And out of that 3, we still have, and when I say we, the industry players, the software development companies, would still need to train them for 6 to 8 months before we make them productive. So where is the current gap? The current gap basically is that, for the past 2, 3, 4 decades, we've always been finger pointing at each other in terms of it's the academ's fault, and academe would point a finger at industry and say it's actually industry's fault. Now, through this memorandum of agreement between Asia Pacific College and Spring Valley Tech Corp, we are trying to address that particular gap and put an end to the finger pointing exercise that we have seen for so many decades. Hence, we came up with a very unique set of course offerings through specialized professional tracks in cybersecurity, cyberforensics, mobile programming, of which there's a huge demand out there, operating system professionals, IT analytics, cloud computing and virtualization, games and multimedia, which is probably becoming one of the more popular technology disciplines that is being required, robotic process automation, and of course, Internet of Things. We could not find a better partner than Asia Pacific College because it has always been our intention that as we put up facilities that would represent the Silicon Valley of the Philippines, that we could count on a very strong academic presence, and that particular gap and void has been filled by the partnership that we are establishing with Asia Pacific College. So what does all of these offerings actually put on the table? We aim to help students in their career and give them an edge because of industry certifications. That's the first one. Enhance the depth and breadth of the students' knowledge and skills in their chosen technical area to complement the core and specialized courses in their respective programs. The third one is that students may choose a track that will help them in a current project, meaning to say both from a theoretical and practical level, we would want to help ease that burden from our learners. Last but not the least, one of the things that we are very proud of is that we would like to coordinate with an industry partner. Those that are already going through the motions of participating in the growth of the IT sector in the country. Some of them are actually here this afternoon. I'd just like to have a very strong shout out to companies like Highbrain, led by its CEO, John Dave Duenas, and of course, Holysoft. It's a very unique game company located in Bacolod, led by Ms. Jinky Besana. And among all the other industry players that we have touched base with, who are very, very interested in actually getting into this program. So not only are we talking about a very theoretical approach in terms of education, but we would also want to see the practical application of this knowledge the soonest possible time. In fact, during the time that they are learning. Just to revert back to bullet point number 1, which is aim to help students in their career and give them an edge because of industry certifications. The industry experience is such that when we hire developers and IT folks, we still basically have to shell out for all of these certifications, which apparently is already embedded in the course offerings that we have put forward between APC and Spring Valley Academy. This is not our first tango with Asia Pacific College. About 2-3 years ago, we did a very massive Train the Teachers campaign on several academic disciplines, including data analytics, game development, and software development. And we did train a lot of teachers within the Visayas and Mindanao region, but it did not end there. We actually borrowed some of the resources of Asia Pacific College to teach senior high school students in Capiz, where Spring Valley was located. And that proved to be a very refreshing and fruitful engagement, most especially for the learners. So again, this is not the first time that we're going to be doing this with Asia Pacific College. And we hope that for those of you who are listening now who are interested to join the program, or if you know somebody who is interested, please let us know so that you could now be part of this particular journey with us. With that, again, the aim for this afternoon is to make one step forward in order for us to address the industry academe gap that has always been present in our educational system. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being part of this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lozuriaga. Well, definitely, this is not the first tango, and hopefully it will also be not the last boogie. Okay, so are you all excited to learn more about this APC and Spring Valley partnership? Our next presenter is our next presenter already in the cloud? No, sorry. Ano ba sasabihin yun, ano, pagka online, ano? Pwede mo sabihin is in the venue, is in the area. Okay. Well, our next presentation is supposed to be the APC and the Spring Valley partnership. And our presenter is the chairman of Asia Pacific College, Commission on Higher Education Certified Center of Excellence for Information Technology Education, and a joint venture of SM Investments and IBM Philippines Incorporated, with a primary goal of education for jobs creation. Well, APC was created the mandatory on-the-job training with accredited partners, and they provided the training support for BPOs in the sunrise industry. Today, APC is the shared curriculum developer and trainer in collaboration with Business Process Association of the Philippines for the system management track of the new K-12 that will convert senior high school graduates, years 5 and 6, into immediate hires for the leading BPO companies. Now, in 2014, our speaker was elected into the board of National University. He is also a board trustee in the Insurance Institute for Asia and the Pacific Incorporated, the Education Center for Insurance. So, ladies and gentlemen, to present to us this APC and Spring Valley partnership, let us welcome our next speaker, Mr. Ramon Y. Dimacali.
Well, good afternoon. Let me welcome everyone, especially our visionary partners, Dr. Jonathan, Dan Reyes, and Boogie, collectively with collaboration with Tata and Paulino and the team. This momentous occasion of reinventing education is happening today. As you know, the last 90 days of quarantine, we have the lesson of the lifetime. Because suddenly we realize we should be ready for any disruption and we should be able to manage change. You have seen what happened with work from home. A lot of companies are still struggling today. You have seen the need for cloud kitchen to deliver the grocery items and certified online orders. And of course, you have seen the need for contact tracing, which is an application that needs to be developed to support and keep calm and peace, safety for everyone. Well, today we are going to help drive the solution to that because all of those needed technology. And today is a momentous occasion because we are going to launch an MOA to connect and push through specialized education that will address the needs of managing change. At Asia Pacific College, our mission is empowered by the industry's call for new professionals. And the foundation of APC is that we are agile, and we are resilient. So we can quickly change our model at fit to industry needs. So our graduates, since the start, were fully focused on what the industry needs. So they can be your leaders for transformational change and drive a better value in this ever-growing digital world. Today, we have a partner called uh, uh, Spring Valley. The Spring Valley was established in Bacolod as a technology park where innovation and technology is cultivated and nurtured for talent development and intellectual property creation that will serve as a melting pot for all our experts and innovators in the region to design, develop, and deploy game-changing creations and invention. So this partnership between APC and Spring Valley is very strategic because it will evolve and transform the industry to the new normal and with education at the helm. So APC will attempt to deliver these courses beyond the classroom into the Visayas using the latest flexible teaching models and enabling long distance learning. So the next academic years, APC will bring technology and subject matter experts. And with the support of Spring Valley Academy, will provide opportunities for training on cyber forensics, robotic process automation, IT analytics, Internet of Things, games, multimedia, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and virtualization, mobile programming, and operating systems. So the goal is to be able to have a balance straddle between the theory and the practice. And we can do that because Spring Valley has signed up a lot of industrial partners who are willing to host our students to be on the job so that they can accelerate their learning curve and become the professionals they want to be and the employees and professionals we need in our company. So with this awesome long distance education innovation of APC and Silicon Valley, we have a team which is called Reinventing Education. And I am excited and happy that our students in Spring Valley will be able to do the same shot we have at APC. And that is real learning, real projects, real jobs. So in closing, let me congratulate the support teams of APC and Spring Valley for making it happen. And with God's blessing in these trying times, we will survive. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
So I guess we should now first move on to the next presenter to talk about the new learning environment, which is education post-pandemic. Our speaker is the president of Asia Pacific College. She leads industry academic partnerships, a foresight and continuing legacy of the APC Board of Trustees. At the same time, our speaker champions innovation in the art of teaching and learning, challenged by technology disruption and permeation in society, particularly in higher education. Her passion in alternative learning systems led her to hold concurrent positions in government as a member of the Commission of Higher Education, or CHED, Technical Panel for Teacher Education, and chairperson of the Technical Committee on Alternative Learning Systems. Our speaker holds a graduate degree in Educational Leadership and Management from De La Salle University, a Bachelor's of Science degree in Psychology from the University of the Philippines. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to talk about the new learning environment, education post-pandemic, our president of Asia Pacific College, Dr. Maria Teresita Tata Medado.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'd like to make special mention of Dan Reyes being here. Thank you, Dan, for gracing this occasion. It's been wonderful. We have not seen each other for quite some time. Maybe it's because of the COVID, but well, with this kind of conversation, I think we will be seeing more of you. And of course, I can never think of any other committed and passionate partner in JDL. I'm sorry, I'm not his wife, but I certainly am committed to this
venture that we are just about to get into together. Yes, we've met each other far back in IBPAP so many occasions that I've worked with him, and so I would consider that some kind of our courtship. And now this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to do that handshake. So I'd like to share my slides. Okay, JB, I'm seeing my slides now. Are you seeing it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, JB. Let me proceed. I'm sorry for that little mishap. And so as I was mentioning a while ago, I was asked to do a review, so to speak, of education post-pandemic, and what does it take for a new learning environment to respond to that pandemic, to this pandemic that we are facing right now. So there's a lot of extraordinary measures that have been put up, and I know that all of us would have experience, for instance, social distancing, protective devices that we've never seen before or used before, new definitions or new protocols on sanitation and wellness. And you cannot underestimate its impact in education. As a matter of fact, there is really no F2F, as we say, face-to-face classes. We have been, in effect, forbidden to do just that. We were also imposed upon by the Commission of Higher Education to immediately get into flexible learning options. And to soften the impact to students, there has been some measures of relaxed grading system that had more or less allowed the students and the parents to heal their anxiety over the disruption, and this not only anxiety but this fear that their students or our students and their children are not graduating at all. At the same time, business and industry also felt the pinch, and suddenly we're confronted with a situation that leads to drastic changes in many ways that we do business. And one of this is, of course, what we call now work from home, which I think in the IBPAP industry has been practiced over a period of so long already, but not new to many other organizations. Another one would be some changes in the supply chain, which had delayed or slowed down the delivery of basic services. And as you can see, all of this has impact on the technology that we use, including, for instance, financial services that have now to innovate and reconstruct the way they deal with their clients, the way they deal with providing, for instance, the financial obligations of the clients, the financial obligations of institutions. But here's another threat that maybe we have forgotten, but it's clearly a threat as well, on top of the COVID-19. And this happened some 5 years ago, and this is what you call Executive Order 10355. I wonder if you remember that, but that's the Enhanced Education Act. It just so happens that this year, when COVID arrived, there is going to be a dearth of graduates in 2020 and 2021. And this is what the Enhanced Education Act is bringing on the table. In 2019, there were around 800,000 graduates. That's a huge, big pie that IBPAP can get what Dan calls as what Dan counts as 100,000. Unfortunately, in 2020, the expectation is we get a little over 100,000. That's only about 14% of your usual graduates. And that's a challenge, of course, because IBPAP alone would want that 100,000, but the 100,000 doesn't really like to go towards all of them towards a technology career. So let me get you acquainted with what we need to see as an environment for the new learning. And I see here that we can't, it's only as good as, when you talk about learning environment, it's only as good as a subset of an entire ecosystem of a school. We need to have a view of that ecosystem to assess the impact of change. But for purposes of brevity, I will elucidate only the goals, the program, and some issues on access. Goal Our goal post-COVID and post-EO 10388 is really developing the supply of talent, okay, the right talent for the jobs of tomorrow. At the same time, we have had, and my partner in crime has already discussed a number of skills, the right skills for future jobs. And therefore, he discussed about professional certification embedded in curriculum standards. At the same time, space is ubiquitous now. And therefore, this is what we believe as a demarcation line towards change. If you can see that on your screen, it would be sort of looking at a bright future, a greener pasture. As assumption being that we discard the past, leave it behind, bite the bullet, and make drastic decisions because getting back is not an option for now, not in the near future. This kind of change is painful. It is painful. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But if you look at this new environment, the path to it would be sort of looking at a bright future, a greener pasture. As assumption being that we discard the past, leave it behind, bite the bullet, and make drastic decisions because getting back is not an option for now, not in the near future. This kind of change is painful. It is painful. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But if you look at this new environment, the path to it would be sort of looking at a bright future, a greener pasture. As assumption being that in the 21st century, of course, internet and devices for hybrid and flexible learning models with the choice of learning styles allowing self-paced learning and all of that shebang, okay, has arrived. However, all this hardly became mainstream in formal education. As you can see right now, even UP OU is not even mainstream. Okay, it is a separate organization and it does not apply in all disciplines. Therefore, I would have to change the title of this talk. Okay, I'm sorry to be irreverent about this. Now I'm saying that this is post-pandemic and post-EO 10355, and this is what will produce the new learning environment. So I am now giving you the trajectory of how we want to face this both a pandemic on my end. Therefore, this demarcation line actually disappears. All right. Instead, let me lead you to see the area of opportunity. Now I'm saying that this is post-pandemic and post-EO. Change is encompassing and drifting between pre and post, where change is a blend of resources rather than a distinctive differentiation, where change capitalizes on the benefits and power of education experience of the past to cast new models of implementation. This perspective of blended makes change fluid and less painful. When change is gradual and incremental, as we take lessons from the past, such is the vast area of opportunity for change. And these are all the opportunities that we can master. Here in this slide, I think I don't really have to show this to you, but take a look at all of these opportunities. Okay, for degree courses, we're looking at job role specialization. We're looking at all the certifications on creating the embedding curriculum standards in professional certification. On the physical space, we know that, of course, we will go blended, and therefore, we will still be using both APC as the institutional resource for learning, as well as Spring Valley Academy. And therefore, this sums up to you what I would call, okay, enabling us to perfect the goal, okay, towards the strategic to jobs and productivity. Create a better environment for programs that combines the best of curriculum structure, inundated by professional certification, and the physical space expands to virtual learning spaces. Okay, and it may be in the workplace, in the home, on premise as well, wherever you are, or maybe even in the car. So here you are. we're looking at, in summary, a snapshot taking on this area of opportunities, the right environment to make the right blend for the new learning environment. We find the relevance of academic goals to aspirations of students and graduates, better uptake of potential workforce, not having to wait for graduation. We find strategic programs for targeted skills in the future, all right? We don't have to create an entire degree just for them to use, for instance, their skills and know-how in programming or developing solutions. We have a hybrid of spaces that makes permanent the habit of continuous learning. And I emphasize this because if learning occurs everywhere, then what you're saying to your students is learning does not stop. It will always be a challenge, not in school, but probably in the workplace and in any other instance that you are, everything is a learning experience. And finally, I will end by saying that describing what the metamorphosis means to APC, this is really about intensifying our commitment to our vision, okay, expressed in our, of course, in our mission statement as well, enhanced program offering, catching the opportunities of industry exposure, the expert and communities of practice, expanding learning opportunities using not only technology, but a learning mindset. And at this point, I will again venture in a change of my title. Therefore, my title now is Education Post-Pandemic and EO 10355, empowered by the same APC vision, mandates, programs, and learning spaces. And this is how it's going to happen with the partnership. Thank you very much. And I would like to have that physical handshake, but unfortunately it will not happen. But then again, your presence and the presence of all the audience right now gives us all, hopefully will give us that push, that direction we are taking, so that the IBPAP industry, who I know is here, and all the rest of the other industries will have a future of better people who can serve post-pandemic and EO 10355. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tata. So, well, yes, we may not be able to do physical handshake, but you can always do this. Okay? You just shake your hand.
You look crazy, Boogie.
I always do. But of course, not as fittingly crazy as JDL.
Boogie, I just like to take this opportunity also to thank some of the attendees. Now, we've got our partners from Taiwan who are also on this video event. From III, which is the Institute for Information of Taiwan, which is more or less the DICT equivalent. They've joined us here, and that's part of the arsenal that we offer to our learners, because then they will have access to partnerships, not only local, but also the partnerships that Spring Valley has invested in the past couple of years. We'd also like to have a special shout out to Mr. Jomari Mercado, who is also here with us this afternoon. He's the former president of the IT and Business Processing Association of the Philippines. And also another member of our board of directors, Attorney Bob Ginto, has also joined us for this afternoon's Memorandum of Agreement signing.
Okay, thank you all to our participants. Well, of course, we can't see each other, but it's good to know that a lot of friends are here with us today. And as we are about to sign the MOA, let me just maybe highlight. I think it's important for us to realize that, as I mentioned earlier, during when I talk about the future of IT education, that we are truly looking at what could possibly be the future of IT education in the Philippines, because for the longest time, we were hankering for that true industry academic partnership. JDL was right. It has been maybe about 4 decades of that already. Okay. Uh, I was still very young then when all of this industry academic linkage started. No? And we have been talking about it for the longest time. But here we see two players that have stepped up to the challenge. And in fact, I think if I may read from the MOA itself, it says here that whereas APC, in its efforts to make relevant its academic programs to the demands of modern industry, offers opportunities for industry-academic relations in ways that enable continuing curriculum development, faculty training and development, project development, and research opportunities for students and faculty, and student internship and job placement. Now, on the other hand, whereas Spring Valley created to address the need for a venue where innovation and technology is cultivated and nurtured in terms of talent development, intellectual property creation, and serve as the country's melting pot of all the talented technology experts and innovators in the region to design, develop, and deploy game-changing creations and inventions. So you see here two very competent players coming together to form this synergy. And we are very delighted to be witnessing this partnership, this signing of the partnership. I think it's truly wonderful that an institution like APC, who has practically been leading the way, no, in introducing innovations in education, is now partnered with also a very pioneering company led by a visionary leader, the person of Mr. De Los Arriaga. So, as you're seeing now, they're signing. Dapat may background music, JB.
Done.
Yes. So the future is now here, ladies and gentlemen.
Ugi, before we actually let go of everyone, allow me on behalf of Spring Valley Tech Corporation and my chairman, Mr. Danilo Sebastian Reyes, to thank Asia Pacific College for the years of partnership and for the trust that they have given us. It's not very easy for academic institutions to actually embrace all the different changes and radical changes in the industry. But Asia Pacific College has been very, very open, of course, even during the time that Mr. Paulino Tan was very, very much active in the operations. Tata, I remember, used to seed IBPAP with a lot of OJTs then, and that was a very nice experience for all of us. We could see the kind of graduates that APC has produced have already more or less played vital roles in both the startup ecosystem and even in the traditional software development companies. And one of the questions that was actually sent to me was that what is really the unique facet of this partnership? Well, I guess aside from all of the things that have been mentioned by Tata and parts of which were also expressed during my presentation, I think that one of the most important facets of this is that it is not only academically led in terms of curriculum identification, but there's a lot of industry inputs. Another thing that we have put on the table as Spring Valley is that especially for those who will be enrolling in Visayas and in Mindanao, we have put together a package. So we call it the 3Cs package. So it's the curriculum or the courseware. And we are also financing computers. And we have also partnered with connectivity providers, some of which are actually in attendance this afternoon. So I think Mr. Victor Aliwalas from PLDT is in attendance, as well as representatives from Globe. I'm not sure if Ann Season is also here from Globe. So it really depends. Even the two telcos that have been very, very competitive with each other has decided to support this very important initiative, primarily because the goal here is to provide quality education, especially during these challenging times. And, in relation to what I mentioned during my presentation, I cannot accept really that education is going to be at a standstill, even just for a semester, because majority of the issues that we face as a country is actually brought about by lack of education. And we are not going to contribute to that. I think the message is loud and clear coming from the APC side, as well as the Spring Valley Tech Corporation side. We are not going to stop until we deliver good quality education to anyone who would want to learn. So maraming salamat to Mr. Dimakali, to Tata and the rest of the team. Of course, Boogie, I know that you're recently retired from your teaching load, but I know that you're very much involved still within the APC community and family. So maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Okay, thank you very much again, Mr. JDL. You're the man. So I guess this wraps up our event for this afternoon. I hope you are sharing with us, all of our viewers out there are sharing with us the excitement that we are feeling with this, because the feeling is that we are seeing something truly wonderful and big unfold before our eyes. Okay, it's the future. Okay? Maybe it was forced upon us by this pandemic, but as agile and flexible and adaptable that Asia Pacific College has always been, we have continuously responded to that challenge. And we are very thankful that we've found a very fitting partner in Spring Valley Technology Corporation. And we are very confident that we will truly move this forward to provide quality education in the Philippines. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you for participating in this afternoon's event, and hope to be seeing you in our future events as you continue to see how this partnership will move forward. So thank you very much and good afternoon.
Welcome to Asia Pacific College. Here, we're more than our degree programs, more than our intensive faculty-student interaction, more than our industry linkages, or more than the employability of our graduates from internship. Guided by integrity, industry, and innovation, a culture of exploration drives us forward as we set course in treading blue ocean, exploring the unknown and unimagined. We inspire and motivate each other to discover new ways to change the world, empowering our students to live up to their potential and realize their aspiration. We prepare our students to make a difference. We live with purpose and conviction. And we work hard to ensure that our best is always becoming better. Greater things await you at Asia Pacific College.
Bye.